Resigned. I will not be pushed, filed, stamped, indexed, briefed, debriefed, or numbered. My life is my own. I resign.
Welcome everybody to the channel. If you're new, you're welcome.
And I will become a bandit. If he gets the council tax, I will be a bandit because I will not pay. I will be in jail, huh? Yeah, I have to go to jail because I do not pay. Will not pay council tax, eh? Then I will be like you say, a bandit and be in jail. Yeah, be in jail, Welcome everybody to the channel. If you're new, you're welcome. Want to do another update on the videos. Basically, I've been doing some videos in the car because obviously I've been trying to do a lot of things at the moment. But yeah, so as you can see from the thumbnail, obviously Labour, that's Labour Party, this man's in charge. I mean, he's doing so many things to make, you know, the country just a mess. The next option probably will be he'll probably stick with the BBC, use the BBC as his little TV channel to properly get him re-elected, because obviously, as you know, Reform, the UK House, sadly, you know, going to harass him in some respects, because he's going to be the next election is going to be another fight with Reform. And of course, if they scrap the TV license, that's a big vote winner. So you know, that could be another issue with Reform, with you know, with that situation. I was watching the great Chili John's channel. Watch Chili John because he's very, very informative about this subject. But you're new to the subject, you're new to BBC licensing. It's a lot of stuff you can watch without having to pay the TV license, whatever, you know, as long as it's not live television. But there again, another thing, that is another monopoly that BBC have got. I did recently was in town centre and just met a guy trying to sell me Skype, and I said to him, well, do I have to have a TV license? Because just conning him in a way that I didn't know whether I had to have one or not. I know you have to have a license, but he said to me, he was on and on about it. He said, well, no, you know, well, yeah. So he didn't actually say to me, yes, you have to have a license. He wanted to sign me up for the Sky Sports. You know, he's doing a promotion in the town centre about next season's football and everything, and you know, all the World Cup stuff coming up shortly and stuff. So I didn't say nothing. So I said, oh well, I'll have to find out then, you know, whether, and I was just walking away from him because I said I'll have to find out whether I need a TV, because I haven't got a TV license. But he more or less said to me, well, I won't say anything, you can sign up and whatever. I'm not going to say, once you've signed up, it's fine, you know, we don't check. Well, that's what he more or less said, we're not going to check or tell anybody. But I don't really believe he's just a salesman. He wanted to get a sales pitch, and so I didn't really trust him. So Labour could, like I say, try and feather their own nest by having the BBC on their side, because obviously it's going to be a very tight thing with the next general election. If we have got Starmer in charge, maybe somebody else, they may have kicked him out by then. But after all this, really, it's you, the people out there, want to have change. You want to have, you know, a Netflix situation like BBC run like Netflix, you know, like the BBC iPlayer. Because when I was at my mother and father's watching the snooker and stuff last week, everywhere was BBC iPlayer, BBC iPlayer, BBC iPlayer. Everything was on there, and that's where they've got to go. So maybe they may go down that channel with the subscription and do advertising. They may do that. That's what they seem to be pushing all the time at the moment. So Labour could, like I say, try and feather their own nest by having the BBC on their side, because obviously it's going to be a very tight thing with the next general election. If we have got Starmer in charge, maybe somebody else, they may have kicked him out by then. But after all this, really, it's you, the people out there, who want to have change. You want to have, a Netflix situation like BBC run like Netflix, like the BBC iPlayer. Because when I was at my mother and father's watching the snooker and stuff last week, everywhere was BBC iPlayer, BBC iPlayer, BBC iPlayer. Everything was on there, and that's where they've got to go. So maybe they may go down that channel with the subscription and do advertising. They may do that. That's what they seem to be pushing all the time at the moment. So that's another thing about the monopoly the BBC have got on the live television. I can use another provider, internet provider, like I think it's gone to TNT provider now, Discovery and stuff, or these other channel like Virgin Channel. They have all the built-in package deals that you can buy, and you're paying for it, but you still have to have a TV license, and that is a monopoly, folks. I mean, there is a monopolies commission. I don't know what they do. It's just like a job for the boys in government, and they all work together, and that's what I'm just trying to get across with this video. If Starmer does go down the road of making it compulsory to watch, meaning that you got to pay it, you got to pay the tax, you got to watch. It becomes his channel. It becomes state television, folks. State television. There's no other word of just saying it's state TV. As simple as that. It's not the BBC. It's state. So anyway, folks, I think there's be a lot of people watching this video, if it is state TV, who wants state television, who wants the BBC to become a public, broadcasting company, which they are now, but it's run by whoever government's in. Do you want to have a... Well, I'm not saying anything about the BBC as such, what they do. They just do what they want to do. And, of course, as long as they keep their nose clean, which they very not normally do, they try to do that. But there's always these scandals coming up, people who run the BBC. And like I say, it needs to be completely cleaned out, and a professional people to run it better than what it is now. More people like more commercialized, basically, with advertisements, stuff like this. Like I say, like the Netflix situation, and Paramount and Disney and all the rest of the people who have output to put on the to watch, make you watch stuff. Documentaries, films, sport, everything. It's there for you to have a choice what you want to watch, when you want to watch it, and how you want to watch it. At the same time, in the modern day, how would BBC have moved on over 100 years they've been operating since the TV license first came in 1940, something like that. It's gone over the time, the sell-by date, because people now having a TV license is called a TV license. They made amendments when computers came out and people had laptops. They're watching it on the laptops. They're watching BBC iPlayer. They're watching all programs on the iPlayer, on the laptop, and they changed the rules again. They made it so you can't do that. You can't watch it. And of course, then they had the phones. So on a phone or any device. So they make up the rules as they go along, So whatever you do in your home, if you're watching it on your phone, if you're watching it on a tablet, if you're watching it on a computer, you've got to pay the TV license. If it's on the internet, you're watching something on the internet, it's another license fee, an internet license fee. Are they going to do that? Are they going to say, well, whatever you do, the BBC's on the internet, you have to pay so much a week, £10 a week or something, £5 a week or something, to watch the BBC on the internet. It's compulsory or whatever. You have to pay it, like the council tax or poll tax. And like I say, there's a Labour Party on negotiations with the BBC in the Charter, which they're going to have to do. And like the great Chilly John said, they'll start having a chat about it, and then something might happen. This culture secretary who's in charge, the culture secretary here, this lady here, who's supposed to be doing something about it. You hear nothing apart from just a few rumours what's going to happen. And she gets another job somewhere else and then gets moved on somewhere else. So it gets put under the carpet again, gets thrown away. But of course, this Charter 2027 has to be sorted out. And like the great Chili John said, they could kick it down the road for another 10 years. That's what they do, you know. And you know, but it's you, the public. And of course, there's obviously there's a petition. And of course, the only other weapon you've got, whatever you want in this society, it's supposed to be a democracy, you vote and you put your cross down and you vote for Conservative or you vote for Liberal, you vote for the raving loony party or Reform or whatever, Nigel or somebody, you vote for them. And of course, with a petition, you vote for that. So it's what you want, what the public want. That's what the demand the politicians should listen to. Either email your local MP. I haven't got involved in my MP because I'm not available to sort of do that at the moment with present time with my family such commitments. But like I said, it's you out there who have that final word to what you want to watch. And the only other way to show your vote, to say I don't particularly want to watch the BBC anymore, is to stop paying. It's just to stop paying. Check out like Chili John. Check out all the videos on Chili John. He's got great videos on what you can watch. Far more involved than me. I'm just here to tell you what you can do and you can't do. And of course, obviously, what I'm saying is it's up to you what you want to do. That's the right you should have. It's not going to be state television. If it's state television, then we might as well be living in Russia. So anyway, that's what the video's about. And of course, I hope you can hit the thumbs up, leave your comments, but leave your comments below. And of course, like I said, we'll see what happens, because as I said, there's a general election going to come. The elections come every 5 years or 4 years. There could be one even sooner if things go pear-shaped for them, and the economy just collapses. But it's up to you. It's up to you what you want to do. And that's where I say, but once they make it into state television, that means you've got to pay for it. It's a tax. You've got to pay tax. Like we all have to pay income tax. We all have to pay council tax. We have to pay, for policemen and lights and hospitals and stuff. So we have to pay. Then it becomes state. It belongs to the state, and they can use it, manipulate it. So do we want each government who comes in to manipulate the BBC, the channel? They've got their own channel now to use it for their own means. That's not democracy, is it? That's not what we want. We want to just TV programs to be made for entertainment, like Only Fools and Horses, something like that. A bit of comedy, documentary, have a laugh and stuff like this. But if we have to watch our mate Starmer giving us rules and stuff like this, it's not going to be great television. Anyway, folks, leave your comments. Thanks again to all the new people. Come up to 2,000 people subscribe to my channel, which is great, and a lot of comments and a lot of likes and stuff. And the channel's been going very, very well. I'm glad for the thumbs up and stuff, because that's how my channel gets more popular with YouTube algorithm and stuff. So thanks again. Like and subscribe if you wish. Thanks very much. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one. Let's hope this 2027 makes a lot of changes for the better, not just for us, but the BBC as well. Because if they go commercial, it could be all over the world. It'd be able to get subscriptions from Japan and America, Egypt and stuff. People can subscribe because it's on the internet. The BBC iPlayer, they'll get more revenue instead of the easy touch by us having to pay for it all. Anyway, folks, I will see you in the next one. Bye for now. Bye now.